Hey, folks, welcome to the Generational Gap. I am Robert, your resident Gen Xer. Right over there is John, your resident millennial. And making a special guest appearance, once in a lifetime or monthly opportunity, is our great and wonderful friend, Jay Edgar. Sir, how are you doing tonight?
Doing good. It's just got out of work there, so it wasn't as bad as yesterday. I did 10 hours and it was humid as hell yesterday. The humidity broke today and there's no overtime allowed, so I had to get out early. Oh darn.
Now,
Oh man.
now, I'm curious about this thing you're talking about there. I want to know what that's like. What exactly does it mean when humidity breaks?
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah, I don't
You've
What?
understand.
never experienced that.
Right, right. So you're saying that it's possible to be lower than an average 70% humidity?
Yeah, we get it for 6 months out of the year.
Wow, that's
He's lying, Robert. Don't come on.
Did you
That
go
doesn't
outside
exist.
today, John? Did you
I
go
did.
outside today and feel like you were walking into three wet electric blankets?
Yeah, pretty much. It's nice and hot and
Yeah,
humid today. It's pretty
three
sweet.
three wet. Imagine three wet electric blankets, not electrocuting you, just turned on to high heat,
Yeah.
and just a
Never used
comfortable
an electric
105
blanket.
degrees.
It was very nice. Yeah,
We've
very
got
pleasant.
Saint and Seawall in the house. I was just having a little chitty chat with Seawall, throwing a few zingers out there. We were talking about our old friends from Germany, if you know what I mean.
Ah,
Yeah, but
I like their windmills.
they had windmills, and they were
Yes.
proud of them. They were proud
Oh,
of
I'm
them. They
sure
wore pictures of those
of
windmills.
them. Wow.
Right. Folks from Holland like to do it by wearing wooden shoes, all the time. That's how you know.
Yes.
But they love their windmills. But other people, they say it with pictures. A picture says 1,000 words.
Yeah. I
But
suppose this is going to be the night where they're going to do those last minute repairs on the place upstairs because they need to get it rented out for tomorrow.
oh, nice. Well, you got to get that rent. Saint says it was 60% humidity in Pensacola yesterday. Seawall says Texas also gets less humid for about 4 to 5 months out of the year. True. And those windmills symbolize friendship. Of
That's
course.
right. Friendship
A
windmills.
warm friendship, the comforting feel of a warm oven, right? It's that kind of thing, first thing in the
Oh,
morning.
you.
But anyway, so John, I should ask you, how are you doing, sir? I didn't ask the obligatory question.
Fairly all right.
Fairly all right.
Yeah.
FA. We are still looking for some fan fucking tastic in the near future. Hopefully we'll get there. But I think if nothing else, I know one thing that could get you there, and
Ooh.
maybe we could try it in 3 weeks. What do you think?
Okay. Yeah.
Can you have any ideas?
Yeah, I think Friday, August 21st, we'll be doing our 12-hour live stream for St. Jude's once again. Um, yeah, we got a lot of stuff planned, or a couple of things planned, hopefully.
At
We can
least
get
two.
more. At least two,
Over
yes.
12 hours, at least two things.
It will
I think
happen.
you need to have a friendship windmill drawing contest.
I don't know that we want to do that on
we have we
YouTube.
I believe we have been discussing revitalizing our previous drawing contest that we did once before.
Yeah,
We thought about I think I want to go ahead and say that we will do that, and that
I'm
one is
done.
going to
Yeah.
carry a $25 Amazon gift card for the winner of that. We will call it
That you're
an
paying for, right?
erectile instrument drawing contest. Uh, yeah, yes. I'll supply the $25
Yeah, I hope
Amazon
so.
card. Um, I'll have it in the mail. I'll have it in the mail.
All right.
No,
Yeah, it
speak.
sounds good. But what we actually have planned for at the moment, we've got a Jeopardy style game,
Yes,
trivia game.
Jeopardy.
Yes.
ish.
That will
Not
come
not Leopardy. Leopardy. We'll call it Leopardy.
Leopardy.
Right.
Okay.
It's a spotty kind of game.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, we got a $50 Amazon gift card for that. So for the winner of that, of course.
Of course.
So yeah, make sure you let me know if you want to be a part of it. If you want to be a contestant. I think how many people do they do on Jeopardy? Like 3.
3, but we can do. We can have.
Do a few more.
You can have a dozen if you wanted to.
Right. You can have as many.
I mean,
as you want.
technically, yeah.
Yeah.
But anyway, so yeah, we got that, and then we got the sea shanty competition, which is I think it's going to be the best part of the entire 12 hours. Yeah, I don't have anyone lined up yet. I've been working on that. I was telling Robert before we went live. I've been working on getting some professionals in to show us how it's done. After we absolutely fail hilariously. So yeah, that's what we got planned so far. And of course, we have all of our normal people like Jay Edgar's going to be there, whether he likes it or not. He's indeed being detained, as are our other Freedom Scoop people. They will be detained likewise.
Oh yeah.
So yeah,
So,
hopefully we'll have a few other people as well. What's that?
Have you reached out to all of them? There's
We've got 3 weeks, Ed, and
Yeah,
there's
true.
look. We have had verbal commitments for all future endeavors from
That's right.
everyone who's been on one of our charity streams because they think we are fucking cool. Okay, so there. All right, just be there. God.
Right.
Yeah, we'll have them all there.
Yeah, they're being detained. Like I said, they're going to be there.
We got so what is that? 12 hours, joy
Yeah.
and fun. St. Jude's, we're raising for St. Jude's, which is awesome. John's going to shave his beard at 200. Oh man, Ed, how much are you saying? What's it worth? Should we try? Should we set it at 1,000 if we can raise $1,000?
I think we should set it at 10 because he needs that fucking living animal at least taken care of.
I did trim it. I trimmed it recently.
I think you're overestimating our ability to come up with. Oh, you meant $10? I thought you were saying 10,000. I was like, you're overestimating what we can do, sir.
Yeah.
We've proven that. Saint says raising money for a saint is the best way. Do you have a saint? I think he's got a saint in mind. I'm just saying.
Saint Anchor?
Saint Anthony, because you obviously lost your goddamn mind. No.
Hey,
anyone from Catholicism would get that joke. That was a top tier Catholic joke. All right.
Jesus Christ. Hey, that kind of makes me think of something. So, which is great because it leads into this first thing I wanted to talk about tonight. So, if I say Stella Emanuel, you think
Belgian beer?
Yeah, I was about to say the same thing, but then you would be like, "Oh, you're an alcoholic or some shit." So.
Well, no.
I don't care. Most people.
Do I need to state the obvious? No, but I am going to say this. From the rumor mill, I'm hearing that John is drinking less these days.
Oh yeah.
Those rumors are true, John?
I guess, yeah.
Have you been getting yourself in shape? Starting to feel your mortality? You want to be healthy? But anyway.
Yeah, I turned 30 and I'm like, oh, fuck. That's it.
All right. So here's the thing.
It's all over for me. Yeah, go ahead.
So Monday, somewhere in Texas, Houston. Was it Houston? I believe it was Houston. Some doctors were up and they were talking, and one of them was Stella Emanuel. And these doctors were hyping up hydroxychloroquine, right? They were hyping it up and talking
about. Now we're banned. Thanks.
Yeah. Right. But I think you can talk about it without, as long as you're not talking about conspiracies.
No.
One would hope. That's why I didn't put it in the title. But anyway.
That's a good thing, yeah.
So, of course, they're talking about that it's basically, as one of them, she was saying that it's a cure. Now, this is, of course, we know we're dealing with a virus, right? And cures don't normally happen for viruses, right? But anyway. So that's what this message is touting. Well, it turns out that our illustrious leader and his son both retweeted this. And Now,
Yeah.
for the Sun's account actually got put on hold for like 12 hours till he pulled the retweet. But of course, they didn't touch the Trump's, yet they did go
Right.
and get the original tweet that he retweeted pulled. But anyway, it was of this conference. Now, this is a group of doctors that were also saying that we don't need to wear masks, and that the drug is a cure, and they've treated some ungodly amount of people with it, and blah blah blah, this that, and the other. And of course, my first thought is, well, if that many people were walking and saying, "Hey, this is what they treated me with, and this fixed me," we would be hearing that, right, from the people, not just some doctors. But anyway, but the part about her saying that we didn't need to wear a mask and everything comes on the same day that Donald Trump is somewhere, and he's actually wearing a mask that same day, and he's just come out and said wearing masks is patriotic shortly before this. But then they started looking into this doctor, and let me tell you, she is what we call back in the day a piece of fucking work. She is not only a doctor, but she's also a minister, to the extent that she actually has her doctor's office next door to her church that she ministers at. Super convenient, right?
Yeah.
But she also believes quite a few other things. So she alleges that they are currently using alien DNA in medical treatments, and that the government currently has scientists cooking up a vaccine that will prevent people from being religious. Now, that's part of it.
Part of what? I don't understand. Anything she's saying.
Right. Okay. She also claims that gynecological problems like cysts and endometriosis, and also impotence in men, is caused by having sex in their dreams with demons and witches.
Oh, I hate when that happens.
Right.
So like turned on by it.
Like when
demon, get away.
Like you're having one of those. You're having one of those dreams which normally give you a nocturnal emission. That is you having sex with a demon or a witch.
Oh, well, I've only done that once.
Right. These are things that she preaches and she talks about and says are real, and also that there's a cabal of reptilians infiltrating our government.
I mean, have you seen Hillary Clinton lately?
I mean, I'm just...
Or Kamala Harris, for that matter.
That's true.
So, thoughts? Seriously, should they be, first off, as a cure for this, should they be touting this? Should they be out there saying these kind of things when you're reaching millions of people?
Absolutely.
Yeah, why not?
But if it's not a cure, wait, are you guys being sarcastic?
We say wrong shit all the time. I mean, sometimes you're wrong.
You should see me in my personal life. You want to talk about me saying wrong shit?
That's true.
Okay, but these are these are supposed to be medical professionals too, right?
We're supposed to be news professionals, and look how far that got us.
Whoa.
I've never
I don't know why
claimed
you're
to be
using
a
the word news or professional. I don't know why.
I'm a professional Gen Xer. That's all I've ever claimed to be. And a reactionary. But yeah, I mean, should they be saying that when especially, I mean, it's not, it can't be, it's not the truth. I mean, there's enough, they've been studying this for the last few months now because it was brought up by the president and it was talked about. And so they've been doing tests and studies, lots of sources, and nobody has come forward and said, yep, this is the one. So,
well, it's an election year. Keep that in mind too.
I mean,
and it's cheap, and the president supports it.
What's your take
on? They'll come up on the mic and say, "Oh, hydroxychloroquine. It's the greatest thing in the world, and it's cheap, and we'll have a stockpile of it. It'll be the greatest stockpile, the best stockpile in the world.
Well, Seawall said, like Seawall says, it's one of many treatments, and I agree with that. I mean, people are probably being given this because there are things that need to be treated as a result of the coronavirus once you've contracted COVID-19. It's going to have different effects on different people. I get that. That's different than being a cure, right? I mean, because you're telling the general public this is a cure.
Well, it's not a cure, but what it does is it pulls the symptoms down to the point where your immune system can actually handle the virus.
Okay. And that's
it's a symptomatic suppression,
right,
is what it is. It's
right.
what it's always been.
Okay. And that is fine. I can understand that. But, it's like, yeah, you've got to, how you address this. And, and I don't care if it's the thing, great. But the misinformation, this is what bothers me, is that we're still continuing to have.
You want to bitch about misinformation when every single day you turn on the news and you hear 150,000 deaths when it's been proven that they've been pumping those fucking numbers up.
Well, sure, I get it. I mean, it's just, but it's more added on, and I guess I don't like seeing it coming from professionals, and then I don't, in turn, like seeing it retweeted by the president simply because they said the word in it, and I don't know that he sat and listened to the whole thing. I mean, I don't agree that it's a cure. I don't think any of the three of us would agree it's a cure.
I mean, I've
never been a cure.
Right. So I just have a problem with it being promoted that way, especially by, doctors. No, it's not a cure. And this same woman saying that we don't need to wear masks, the same doctor is repeatedly seen wearing masks of an N95 level, in place, like in the hospital, et cetera, et cetera. Well, why are you fucking wearing a mask if you don't need to? But I don't know. So anyway, no, I just think it's funny that we should be, these are other things that we should take much more seriously, I think, being that it's 2020. Because I think those are some potential foreshadowing of things to come. Demons, witches in your dreams. I mean, think about it. Oh, yeah, and she hates the magic 8-ball too. I don't know why she's got it in for it, but she said, those need to be getting because they're fortune-telling devices.
Well, yeah, I mean, one obviously told her that her crush didn't like her back, so she's got an issue with them.
Hers was always stuck on try again later. It was weighted. But anyway, so Saint Roger, whatever, bitches or two,
bitches.
Saint says, don't knock the demon girl dreams until you try them. Oh, well, now actually, bear this in mind. Like, so say you have a fight with your significant other. She said what'll happen is that you'll have the demon will come into your dream of that person, or the witch will come in your dream as that person, disguised as that person, to have that evil sex with you.
So what you're saying is next time I have a dream about my significant other, I should just light her on fire just in case?
It might be a thought, John. It might be a thought.
All right. I'll remember that. Okay.
But yes, Seawall says not only that, but it was important during the SARS outbreak. N95 actually is completely ineffective versus virus. Just saying, yes, pretty much.
Everything's completely ineffective against viruses. It's just a control effort.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's, it's the best it is, But a lot of people don't want to follow control efforts. I mean, in everyday life, right?
Wonder who that would be.
Well, I'm just saying, people don't want to. It's like even when our president says it's patriotic to wear a mask,
whatever.
Some people choose not. Hey, I didn't say it.
Patriotic, and I'm the most patriotic person there is. Your favorite president.
Oh my God, that's so ridiculous. He's such a boomer. It's hilarious.
Hey. He's silent generation. He's past boomer.
Oh, damn.
It's you kids. You're the problem.
Yeah, whatever. Everyone's a boomer when they're older than you. So.
You kids are. You just get off my fucking lawn, for God's sakes. All right. So, but anyway, now I got something else. Talking about the coronavirus, of course, one of the biggest topics right now this week on Capitol Hill has been the upcoming next stimulus package because they're putting one together. I believe it's going to be called the HEALS Act. Now, all that aside, right? Here's something interesting that I saw today, and I'm curious about that the administration basically demanded and expected an apportionment of this act. I think it was $1.5 billion to revamp the FBI building that currently exists, which for some time now they've been talking about moving it out of the Capitol Hill area and putting it outside of that area because overall the move will be more cost efficient for them to move it to a different location.
Mm-hmm.
But apparently the administration wanted that guaranteed in the stimulus package money to take care of the building where it exists now. And the indication, and I'm just putting it out there, I'm floating it out, I'm not wearing a tin hat, I'm just putting out there what was said. It's like 4 doors down or just right near Trump's hotel. And if they were to move the FBI out of that building, it could turn into another hotel. So they think some people are saying it's a play to keep the FBI building there and demanding money that, they're saying, the administration is saying this needs to be a part of this act, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, so Ed, what's your take on that? What are your thoughts on even apportioning part of this just to revamp an FBI building in the first place?
Stop spending fucking money, you assholes.
Yeah.
Wait, I'm not sure that came across how you wanted it to. Were you? Give me a little more emotion, Ed.
Try it again from the top. Here we go.
I mean, it's a given that the stimulus, another package is going to happen. It isn't. It pretty much is a given. I mean, they're going to pass it in one way or another. They're going to pass something. But they don't feel it's because they don't feel like they have any choice. Their backs are up against the wall. People are out there crying for the gimmies, right? They're out there crying for the gimmies. But anyway, I don't understand why it would be okay to apportion even $1.5 billion of a $1 trillion act to update a federal building.
$3 trillion.
No, they bumped it this week because they were coming into the first one.
Skeletor's not going to get her fucking way.
Well, the first one was $3 trillion, but the talk for the last month is that this one was going to be a $1 trillion ask. So if it's bumped up, let me know. But everything I've seen has been talking about this being in the $1 trillion range.
Yeah, Skeletor has a $3 trillion one on the table, and that's what they're going to negotiate against.
And I'm wondering if that's the one that has Kamala and Bernie trying to get the $2,000 a month per person until the for a certain period of time now through till the end of the virus, till we can end the UBI basically, and say the virus is low enough that we can move on. Basically, they're trying to establish a UBI with it.
Well, I think that we should just have $2,000 a month for every American, and everybody will spend it at Hoarding Cup Expenditures in my home state. It is a wonderful organization in my home state, so we should just give out that money to everybody. I mean, we can just make it out of nowhere. That's how it works, is it not?
Right.
I'll give that a 6 out of 10. It was all right.
I would give you a 7 out of 10 on that one. I would bump it.
You just had to one up me.
No, I would bump it to an 8 or 9 if you could get a little more projection broadcast on your voice. It was a little low, so amp the volume up next time, and I think it'll be pretty damn dead on.
I never get to practice that one because he's pretty much insignificant at this point.
Right, he's out of the news now. for the most part.
You never know. They might go to a relief hitter if something happens to Biden. I mean,
Michael Vickers catching up.
He could smell it. He could smell the wrong kid. Sewell says disband the FBI. That will save even more money. They will find
Agreed.
it crazy. See, that's the thing is the administration, especially, I was of an understanding that they were against wayward spending in the last stimulus package, weren't they?
Just 1 second. Hang on, guys.
We've lost Ed.
Who was against, or who was supposed to be against spending or excess spending or whatever?
So, the administration, Trump. I mean, I know he fought back again in some stuff in the first CARES Act because it was
Sorry about that.
Oh. I was just saying, I was pretty sure Trump fought back against some stuff in the first stimulus package because he saw it as superfluous. Am I right, Ed? He did kick back on some stuff that he didn't think.
Well, he doesn't want to spend the money. That has been one of the few things after everything else that he did this time through that I can actually laud this president for is, I mean, he has blown up the spending, but he's tried as hard as he can not to spend, and he doesn't want to spend the money on this stuff.
Okay.
Now, of course, it hasn't happened, but
right. So
because we've got two out of fucking control spenders on heading up each chamber of Congress.
So doesn't that shed a little make this sound a little more odd that it's coming directly from his office that this $1.5 billion be spent on the FBI? Doesn't that seem a little odd that he's trying to slip something in himself? Like that, I don't know. There's something odd there, and I'm hoping more comes to light on it.
I don't know. He
it
just
might
wants
get
to
killed,
pump everything full of fucking funny money at this point because he saw the 32.9% contraction, and he knows he's going to get pointed right back at him. In spite of the fact that every fucking governor in the state, well, every Democrat governor in the state said, "Thou shalt not go to fucking work." And now everybody wants to come back and spend money that my children's children are not going to be paying fucking back yet.
Yeah.
And wonder why a gallon of milk costs $3.99.
See, that's where you're wrong, Ed. Your grandchildren will be able to be paying that back because every hour of labor they do will help pay down that debt.
That's right. It'll all go to the state.
Don't you worry. Don't
all
you
hail
worry.
The state.
They'll only have to deal with like 17 years of indentured servitude by that point. You'll be okay.
Yeah,
so you can rest easy. Hey, speaking of something else that he's getting the blame for, Herman Cain died this week from the coronavirus.
That was the weakest fucking transition in the history of podcasting.
No, it wasn't. You were the one that was saying he was throwing blame, so I used the blame things. I did. This just came anyway. It just reminded me when you said that about him being blamed. But anyway, they're laying the blame for Herman Cain's death at his feet now too.
Well, naturally.
Yeah.
Because
I mean, he is the orange one that must be blamed.
Well,
and never be always be bad.
2 weeks before Herman Cain contracted COVID-19, he was in Texas was it Texas or Texas, right? It was the Oklahoma, the Tulsa rally. That's it.
Yep.
It was in Tulsa, and Herman Cain was there without a mask on. A bunch of people, no masks on. And 2 weeks later, he contracts coronavirus and now dies this week. I think it was 2 or 3 days ago. And so now they're starting to point fingers at Trump that it was his fault for having that Tulsa rally and saying nobody needed to be wearing masks, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
Nice.
And everybody's overlooking the fact that Herman Cain had just been traveling around the entire week before that, all over the place, doing a bunch of traveling. But it was the Tulsa rally that did it because it was like basically 2 weeks exact. Go ahead.
Regardless of that, something doesn't fucking math here. Something doesn't math with that. And I've been thinking about that all day because I read that story on my morning show this morning as well. The fact that he had been at the rally, and I'm just thinking to myself, Okay, Juneteenth was what the crisis was, and then they moved it another day after that because it's the only fucking reason we know what Juneteenth is at this point.
Right.
Keep in mind.
I still don't know
Because
for sure what it is because I don't feel like I think I need to. But anyway, sorry,
oh,
go
you
ahead.
have to. It's going to be a national holiday come next year.
Yeah.
I'll add it to the list.
But yeah, I mean, so that means if it was on Juneteenth, that it's been 5 weeks.
Well,
Mm.
but he started showing symptoms. You're saying now is 5 weeks, right?
Mhm.
But he started showing symptoms 2 weeks after being there. Basically, it was the perfect storm incubation time.
I don't think he got it at the Juneteenth rally or the 20th rally.
Well,
The math doesn't math. It doesn't.
Well, you'd have to look at what day they announced that he had been tested positive for the coronavirus. I remember them saying that he tested positive. I just don't know exactly. I didn't look at the dates. Now they're really, of course, jumping on the timing. So I have to go back and look at it. But it doesn't matter that, it doesn't matter if the timing is accurate enough or not. He was at a rally where Trump was without a mask on, and now he's dead from the coronavirus. So therefore, X plus Y equals 8293.
Yeah, what's the total death count from that place since then? They don't know because there isn't one.
Right.
They don't give a fuck about that.
Right. I mean, I was wondering the same thing. I was like, why wasn't this, presented like the parade in Philadelphia in 1920? That like touched off like a major area of epidemic during the flu back then, right? You would think that this tells if it was such a big deal that they're gonna blow his death, it's going to get big. I mean, they're going to be, it's, they're going to make him go into a panic on Twitter. Not a panic, but you know what I mean. He's going to have to go into one of his response modes where he's just, this might get all caps eventually. I don't know.
Wait, hold on. I got to ask Saint about this here because you just popped it up in the chat here. Total deaths today, 42. 42 people that were at that Trump rally have died. I think that would have been bigger news.
Yeah,
One would think.
Doesn't make much sense.
You would think it would be bigger news, but now that it's Herman Cain, it is.
I don't know what the fuck those demon kids are doing upstairs, but
Oh, they're moving in to
No, they're
your
not.
place through the ceiling.
yeah, pretty much.
And as Saint points out, coincidentally, also the answer to life, the universe, and everything. Excellent movie reference, sir. I applaud you. I think that's great. But anyway, and plus, on top of that, of course, Herman Cain is black. So that's another log that'll get to be added to the fire in some way, shape, or form.
Wait. No, he doesn't get to be black, though. He's on the wrong side.
Mhm.
He's not allowed to be black.
Yeah, like Tim Scott.
Yeah. Not allowed to be.
Are you
He's not
sure? Now,
Yeah.
I'm positive.
now that he's dead, though.
No,
See, now that he's dead, it's all fair game.
I don't know. Because,
Watch.
I mean,
there's
we'll see.
there's no such thing as a
We'll
too
see.
soon moment now.
well, no, I never believed in too soon. It's just, I don't know. I don't think he still gets to be black. He was way too much on the wrong side.
Isn't it all about the side that's spinning? I'm just saying.
I guess, yeah, we'll have to see.
So it is kind of odd that he's the only one that is making this a lot more apparent. I mean, of course, there's been some, back talk about him having had that in the first place, but when it's all said and done, nothing like what the attention it should be getting now, along with Herman Cain. But like Ed said, you can't expect that kind of thing, right, Ed?
Yeah.
So Ed, now I'm going to put something out there that you pointed me to, and I thought we could have a little bit of a discussion about this.
Okay.
You pointed out something known as Directive 51.
Mhm.
Now, I have to be honest with you. What do you think of if I say Directive 51, John? What's the first thought that runs through your head?
Order 66.
Right?
Yeah.
And so then,
Execute
and then on
Order
top of that,
66.
potentially something to do with Area 51, right?
No,
Right.
that's too on the nose.
Execute all the reptilian overlords. Right. Right. No. But yeah. Execute Order 66 is the first thing I thought of too. But so before we get into it too deep, Ed, what was it that sparked this for you? You were telling me a little bit about that earlier.
So I work when I'm off the microphone. I work shipping and receiving, which is a lot of time where I'm by myself and putting stuff away. So I've always got the podcatcher going in my ear there, and on my rotations, we've got Shapiro because I've got a love-hate relationship with him and all of his little cronies over there. I'd have you guys on the rotation, but you guys won't go to the audio platform.
It's John's fault.
Wow. Oh yeah, that's my fault. That's my job. Okay.
John, the man's talking.
I've got numerous other things that I listen to from varying parts of the spectrum politically. And one of the people that I like to listen to, because I can usually hear things from both sides of the aisle, I like to listen to Tim Pool's audio show for two reasons. First off, I don't have to look at his face, and B, then I can actually bump him up to 2x speed and get more podcasting at the same time. I listen to everything at double speed. And he was pointing that out. That was his top story from last night's podcast, was the fact that the president had tweeted out, "I wonder if we could do this." Now, remember, he never said, "I'm going to do this." He said, "Well, I wonder if we could, because everyone's saying that the election is unsafe, and I don't want to be rife with fraud." I mean, that's way more characters than he's allotted, but for the most part, I think it was. I mean, Tim pointed it out right. I think it was just one of those. He woke up half awake at 2 o'clock in the morning, pulled out his phone because he's got a Twitter addiction, and said, I wonder if we could do this or not."
You're talking about the postponement tweet, right?
Yeah, the postponement tweet.
Dude, no. Hold on, let me break in for 1 second. Thoroughly fucking 4D, bruh. 4D move right there. And let me tell you,
I don't think that was a 4D move. I think that was a toilet tweet.
Watch this.
Toilet tweet.
I don't care where he did it from. Watch this. I put this out there just as a Everybody grabs it and runs like a fucking dog chasing the goddamn rabbit around the ring. Now look at it. It blew up. Everybody's like, oh, he can't do this. It's unconstitutional. Article. Media all over the place. And now guess what happens? He didn't do anything but just throw out a shit tweet, a midnight shit tweet. And now they're going to come to him and force the discussion.
Mm-hmm.
They have to breach the discussion now, and they will pull him in and say, "We have to talk about this now."
Yeah, and because they've mentioned it before, postponing it until after the pandemic or whatever.
Right.
With that, they can't do it.
He thoroughly intended that to do exactly what it's about to do, and it's going to make the discussion happen, and is going to make it happen if it's possible. Now. It was beautiful. I saw that and I was like, Jesus Christ, there it is. There is the 4D chess move right there. Just a perfect one. Because I was talking about it with my wife, and I'm like, think about it. Now they will come to him, and now he can talk about it. Now it becomes a discussion. I don't know. But anyway, I'm sorry, Ed, go ahead.
So anyway, in this video, Tim pointed out, and I have read legislation about transfer of power, because I was thinking about this under Obama, the fact that he could possibly try and grab the reins on to do this. I have read legislation on legislation on transfer of power, how the government works, how the executive branch works, the Constitution, any amendments, any legislation that goes through this. I didn't know this existed until today. And I have read pages upon pages and books upon books about the subject. I didn't know this was even a thing.
Yeah.
Until right now. Now, well, not right now, but today.
I knew that there was a level. He hinted. at this kind of shit too, being able to do this shit. So let's look at it for a minute, and it's not horrible. So I'll tell you, I'll read what it says it's supposed to do, and then we'll kind of talk about that, and then we'll talk about how it lays out the functionaries that would make this happen. But anyway, the purpose of this directive establishes a comprehensive national policy on the continuity of federal government structures and operations and a single national continuity coordinator responsible for coordinating the development and implementation of federal continuity policy. This policy establishes national essential functions, prescribes continuity requirements for all executive departments and agencies, and provides guidance for state, local, territorial, and tribal governments and private sector organizations in order to ensure a comprehensive and integrated national continuity program that will enhance the credibility of our national security posture and enable a more rapid and effective response to and recover from a national emergency.
Okay, you want me to read that for the people that don't have a law degree?
Yeah, I was gonna say, can you
that was really easy. That's
Like,
really
nice.
easy to understand,
Fucking
though.
hell.
This is really easy to understand. This basically paraphrasing saying this is a policy that keeps our shit together at the federal level. This is how we keep our shit together in the event of an emergency. Right?
Shit together
continuity.
And federal government should not be used in the same sentence.
This is how we make sure we don't shut down, right? This is how we make sure we're not shut down. We're not fucked. Everything will still work. This is our grease. So, remember, all of this is focused on, because it refers to this continually, is about maintaining constitutionality. All right? That is the key, is that things are done constitutionally in the event of a situation. But it says the following, hold on, I want to check. Yes, okay. Here's what it wants to ensure. It says the following national essential functions are the foundation of the continuity program and capabilities. They want to ensure the continued functioning of our form of government under the Constitution, including all three branches, providing leadership visible to the nation and the world, and maintaining confidence and trust with American people. Defend the Constitution of the United States against enemies, foreign and domestic. Basically, those kind of things that they swear to already. Maintaining and fostering effective relationships with foreign nations, protecting against threats to the homeland, providing rapid. So basically, everything that we normally do: protecting and stabilizing the nation's economy, ensuring public confidence, providing for critical federal government services, right, for health, safety, and welfare. Okay, they just want to make sure everything keeps going. But here's what happens. Here's how the president shall lead the activities of the federal government for ensuring constitutional government. In order to advise and assist the president in that function, the assistant to the president for Homeland Security and Counterterrorism is hereby designated as the National Continuity Coordinator. The National Continuity Coordinator, in coordination with the assistant to the president for National Security Affairs, the NSA, without exercising directive authority, shall coordinate the development and implementation of continuity policy for executive departments and agencies. So basically, it gives power to run everything to the president, and he then hands off to take care of the smaller, everything beneath him, to Homeland Security and NSA. Those are his two bitches. But now this was set up by George W., correct?
That's correct.
And no one, now, while I think I saw that there had been, the only attempt to do something to this only strengthened it. And it's there. It's at the ready, and this is the kind of thing. It breaks down what constitutes everything constitutes as an emergency situation.
Yeah, we're in a state of national emergency right now.
Yeah,
too.
everything that's going on, right now, this is perfectly fine for him to take charge right now and enact this. Now, I don't know if it. I haven't gotten into the deeper legal down towards the bottom about who has to make all of this happen, but I'm assuming there's still got to be some amount of Congress involved to get this enacted. Right?
I read this while you were going through the intro, and it doesn't appear to be. This actually appears to be straight from the presidency, which is scarier than shit.
That he can sign it by executive order is what you're saying.
Yep.
Okay, so
as long as we're under a state of emergency, which we have been,
right?
Wow, yeah.
For 70 years,
right?
Yeah.
And we're doubly under right now because it doesn't coronavirus, and on top of the riots and protests and everything that's gone on with that, we're in a double state of emergency. Ed,
yeah,
are you surprised that he hasn't picked up this ball and run with it?
I think he has.
Has he? Well, I mean, we've not heard any official, the president is taking over, because you would think that would at least be communicated to us, right?
Maybe. But I don't think he would do it, though, just because, again, I think I mentioned this very earlier in our show, that he wants to be seen as the best president. Like, he's all about his image and his brand.
Right.
Right? So doing something like this would be an even bigger and irrefutable mark on his record. Unlike, being impeached, like nobody really cares, except for people who keep bringing it up, our impeached president. That's not really going to, mar his record too bad. But something like this would be huge.
Yeah, I have to agree to a certain extent because, like that it hasn't been moved on yet, because we wouldn't be seeing federal agents preparing to leave Portland, as has been talked about, that they're supposed to be pulling some or all of them out now. Now that Iraq can police itself, they're ready to pull troops out, as it were. I don't think he would diminish his presence there if he had actually even quietly put this into control.
Right.
Now I could see how it would seem like that. Yes, Ed, I agree. But so I'm assuming, Ed, that you see that this directive in and of itself as unconstitutional.
Yes.
Or that if it existed, it needs to be amended into the Constitution?
No.
Well, I'm not saying not. If it were going to exist, it should exist as an amendment to the Constitution that was ratified by 2/3 of the states. The proper way, right? Giving that kind of power to the president should only be able to come from the Constitution. Am I correct?
Yes, I mean, I understand the spirit of why this was done. I mean, I can, as evil as I think as W is, I can understand the spirit of why this is there, why it's in a position that it's in. That way, it's right there. You don't have to wait for it to go get ratified. I mean, think about when this was done. What was the official date on this? I think he had it up on there. May 9th, 2007. So we were still sitting into the war on terror. We were intelligence was showing that we were due for another terrorist attack, and possibly war spilling out onto our shores on top of everything else.
But doesn't the War Powers Act already do this?
No. The War Powers Act just gives the ability to the chief executive officer to put troops around as long as we're in a state of war, to reorganize troops around. It doesn't say anything about state of succession. or what would happen if the government can't come together and have an election, if we are sitting in the
Oh, well, I
point where we
guess what
get.
I mean is at the time that this was put in, being at a, in a, for want of a better term, in a wartime state already, et cetera, looking at that, I mean, Bush didn't need this facing the things that he did, which was war. He didn't necessarily need this to go into place because, the War Powers Act actually gives the president some power during wartime, is what I was saying. So isn't it kind of odd that he snuck this in? I mean, does it make sense for that to have been put through like that?
Everything that little fucking puppet did was odd anyway, but
Yeah, I'll be right back, right?
Oh yeah, you have fun with that, John. Yeah, I don't know. It just it does seem like it came in right at the end of, I don't know. Like, why would he have put it into place? Because he wouldn't have been. Let's see, what year was Obama elected?
oh wait,
Oh wait, so he put this into play right before he was going out of office.
hmm
I mean, there wasn't much chance of us seeing more. I don't know. I don't know. That was an odd one for me. Why it was in there? It's almost like he was laying an Easter egg for the next Republican president. I don't know. Is it me?
well, like I said, I don't know. I mean, we faced down a terrorist attack right after George W. Bush was elected president. Well, not right after, but very shortly after. So it does make sense to me. I actually was surprised when I found out that this didn't go in 03 because
Right.
it would have been right before the next election, just in case they tried to do something to disrupt it. The spirit
Right.
of the bill is to be there in case we do have an incursion on our soil to where we can keep things going until we get it all resolved and people can get out to the polls and vote. Because you're not going to go to your polling place if you've got a bunch of well, what were we thinking at the time? Think back to what a bunch of Arabs over here on our soil.
Right. Oh, sorry to say, Saint left us. I completely missed that. Oh, it was right after Seawall was saying something about this being the duct tape to keep the shit going. Um, Elephant Man in the house. Good to see you, Elephant Man. Seawall says Trump would only pull this if a state seceded from the union. I don't know. Is that the only reason he would pull something like this?
I don't know. What if a 6 block radius seeded from the union?
Right? Good question. That's nice. I like that. He said basically, if it was civil war, they're still there. They won't leave until they deem it safe enough for them to leave Portland. The feds, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. Is it ever going to be safe to leave?
No, that's the point.
He says the court has never met an unconstitutional law that it didn't uphold during a crisis.
The fucking court has never met an unconstitutional law that didn't uphold. You didn't have to put the during a crisis after it. Roe versus Wade.
He says technically we're still at war with North Korea, and Elephant Man appropriately says North Korea wasn't a war. This isn't for a traditional war. Likely this was made under the thought of bioweapon or dirty bomb was used by terrorists.
Oh, you mean like coronavirus?
Well, where did it break? I was seeing something that broke down, and I think it was in the article that I was reading. But basically this breaks down. I mean, it describes like even the things that it basically opens up everything that's going on with the Black Lives Matter movement, the George Floyd protests, riots, whatever you want to call it. Everything that's happened, destruction of property, including federal buildings, this, that, and the other, and, chaos and shit like that in the streets. I mean, we're there. I mean, he could pull this if he wants to. So,
well, and think about this too for a second, and just go back onto what you're saying here. I can see why this was put in place and run up the way that it was. There were protests to Bush. They weren't violent like we're seeing now, but I mean, Bush was one of the more protested presidents out there for a good fucking reason. But I mean, if you lived in Portland right now, would you want to go vote? Would you want to go out and go to a polling place right now? What about Seattle? Would you want to do that? Minneapolis, would you want to do that? Chicago, would you want to go to a polling place right now?
No, nowhere. Not even here.
So between the coronavirus and the mail-in voting bullshit that they're trying to ram through without anybody knowing what the hell is going on, and all the violence that's happening in some of these major cities that are going to account for a large amount of ballots. I would consider this.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's things are gonna get things. I think things are gonna get weird before they get weirder.
Yeah.
Um, but quick side note, I did see a video clip today. They were putting it out there from like what year was it, like the 2012 election or something like that, or 2014 midterms or something. But it's a clip of Trump driving around trying to trying to find an open a voting location, but he wasn't meeting the requirements for the different locations he was stopping at. And then they have video of him saying, "Well, like, I'll just mail in the absentee ballot," and that was him. He's like, "Well, screw this. I'll just mail him. I'll just mail it in, do the absentee." So that's going to get a lot of traction here. So that's going to start being popping up in your left side media feed. Just FYI, watch for it. It'll be fun.
Well, and when I was looking into this too, I found this article from the Daily Kos. That was the article, or the order itself came down. What did we say? May 7th or May 9th, 2007. 3 days later, the Daily Kos had this article out here, telling us pretty much the same thing, introducing the bill. But in the first paragraph, he says, uses the principle of the unitary executives as propounded by Dick Cheney to seize absolute power in the U.S. anytime the president feels like putting the plan into effect. And then they actually go through, and I mean, the Daily Kos is
Right.
give us more government as long as it's Obama in charge, but
Yeah.
Yeah,
no wonder they went the fuck under.
I mean, it's a very wide open kind of directive. It's a very wide open situation for this to happen. He's also got, now he's forcing this conversation about whether or not we even will have the election. I mean, it honestly, just him tweeting that let me know that the election is now unsure. I can't
Yeah.
say that we'll definitely have an election come November
Mhm.
because he set the plan in motion. Now, I have talked about this before and said, and I'm not the only one. So this conversation has gone on over the last yearish or so as we've been coming into this new election cycle about what if he doesn't leave, and this person speculating of him not leaving, and
He's
this
gonna
person is
leave the White House,
right,
whether he needs to be fumigated or not.
which is he's heard this too. So again, the perfect impetus to just put just a random, I don't know, maybe hold the election off for a little bit. I don't know. I'm just asking for a friend. Asking for a friend. I'm just, I'm not. I don't even have a stake in all this. I don't care. But it is a power move. I think that we're going to be looking at as we get closer to the election. This will not be the only play at it. Because again, I do think that if it doesn't go his way, if we do have it, he will call foul, right? So the question then, I mean, Ed, do you think his chances are just as good now as you did, say, 1 year ago of winning this election, or even 8 months ago of winning this election? Do you think his chances are still as good?
Yes.
Even though there's a lot of back and forth out there amongst the voting public, has he done a good enough job with the pandemic? Do I still have work? Do I, I mean, you think he's still going to ramrod it home come November?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, John, what about you?
I don't know. I'm pretty unsure about that. I don't know, with all like the mail-in stuff, if that gets through, then there's all kinds of room for, all like fucked up voting, counting, and all that kind of crap. Where, like we saw in Broward County for the midterms, where all of a sudden, every time, DeSantis was pulling ahead, he'd be like, oh, here's another 10,000 votes. And look, like 8,000 of them are Democrat votes. I think we're going to see a lot of that happening.
Yeah, that's one of the things, and nobody talks about Wisconsin in any of this here. But for the last two elections we've had in Wisconsin, the midterm where the governor changed power, and then the primary where we also had a very, very, very progressive Supreme Court justice running against Scott Walker, incumbent. I mean, the woman makes Bernie Sanders look like a fascist right leaner. that kind of person. And on both elections, it was almost neck and neck for the entire time. Like I remember during the Scott Walker thing, during the midterm, it was neck and absolute neck. The whole election cycle, neck and neck, until 1 o'clock in the morning, the Wednesday afterwards, when hey, we found 3,000 ballots that were stuck together in a gluing error, and hey, look, they're all for Tony Evers. Just enough to get him up to 1.1% over.
Yeah.
Exactly enough to get him exactly 1.1% over.
Seawall says legally a president can get 10 years in office. Innocent whistling. Who was that? Who was it that had that many 2.5 term? Or was it? Who was it? Who am I thinking of, Ed? Anybody?
FDR had 4 terms.
No was idea. It 4 terms? Was that a total of 10 years, though? It was counted as 4 terms, but wasn't that like 10? No. I'm trying to remember. Did he have 16 total years?
Yeah, 16 total years.
Because two of those terms he served as vice, it was. I'm trying to remember how it happened because it was just very luck of the draw kind of thing that all the dominoes fell right.
I'm pretty sure it was FDR.
Yeah.
And it might have been a half a term and then three. I know he had 3 terms elected. Because that was the reason that they put the term limits onto him in the first place.
Right. Alphaman says Serbia held elections while bombs were being dropped by NATO. I think we can go to the polls and risk the sniffles. Seawall says, remember the majority of this nation's feeling they can't be honest with their political opinions. Ron Helton has joined us. Hello, fellow enslaved ones. Hey, I mean, I'm just waiting for the ticket to Canada to come through. We've got Elfman says, Ron, get in here and row with the rest of us. LBJ is who Seawall thinks it was, FDR's replacement. FDR is the reason we have term limits for president, like Ed said. FDR was elected to 4 terms but didn't finish his last term. Gotcha. 3.5 due to death. Death has a way of ending your term. It is interesting how that happens.
I mean, it ends any career, really.
Almost every career has been ended can be ended that way, right?
Can be, yeah. So, guys, if you're out there and you got a career, don't die.
Unless you're a professional ghost.
Well, yeah.
I mean, if that's your career, it's just lateral move.
But then you got those like nerds with whatever little electromagnetic finders going around trying to find you. It's an unfortunate.
What the shit? They took away my Alex Jones sticker. Those DLF cocksuckers.
Helton's asking if we already covered the demon seed.
We did, yes.
Unfortunately, yes, we have. Sorry, Mr. Helton. That was in the early part. We talked about our girl for Stella for a little bit. Oh, she's so cute. You should listen to her sermon, John. Go on and pull her up. Just pull up a sermon and listen to her. She's fun to listen to talk. She's from Guyana.
Sure she is.
She's from Guyana, I think is what I saw.
I thought it was Nigeria, but I don't know.
Elfman says Truman shot first. Hell says we are not going to believe this doctor because she talks about demons and witchcraft. She wasn't alone.
She is a doctor.
No. Hey,
She is a doctor.
I'm just saying. The only thing I had to say about that is you would think that we would be hearing from these patients, these people that they're treating, and if it's again, it's more about what they're calling it. If it's just one of the treatments that's being used, so be it. It's not a cure. It's just you can't stand up there and say don't worry about wearing a mask because we have a cure. What does that tell the layman sheeple out there? Okay,
Oh,
where do I
yeah.
get my cure? Where do I get my
Well, I mean,
cure?
unfortunately, sometimes, that's their fault for being dumb.
I see.
I
Well,
mean, sorry. We protect the dumb in this country, in this world even now.
uh,
Why there's so many of us.
Helton says you lads do believe that this woman was raised in Nigeria where they have a strong belief in the. I get it. Get that. I'm not. What she believes is one thing. I'm not saying. I'm not saying. You know, have your belief. I am going to laugh because I think it's kind of funny. I mean, I laugh at that whole. You heard that story about that boat with all the animals on it. I laugh at that one
But
too because I'm like,
Robert,
no.
what if she's right?
What
Then,
if she's left?
Oh, she could be left. What if she's left?
well, I'll put it this way.
What are you gonna do then?
I don't
You're gonna
remember.
feel real silly. There's gonna be a lot of egg on your face.
Here's how I feel. I don't remember ever having a wet dream. I don't think I've ever had a sex dream. So I
I've
feel
only had
cheated.
one once.
I feel cheated.
Yeah,
I'm
me
not
too.
even good enough for a fucking witch or demon to come in. Incubus or succubus is
Or you
basically
know
what it
what?
breaks down to.
Maybe you're just too pure for them to enter you.
Is that what it is?
I
Is that
think
what
that
it
might be
is?
what it is.
Is
You're
my
just pure
purity?
of soul and heart. Yeah,
Um,
that's
you
what
know,
it is.
I always thought it was just because I was having so much sex in my real life, I didn't have to worry about dreaming about it.
Yeah,
As
isn't it supposed to be like when you're all backed up?
oh,
Isn't that when that's supposed to happen, or is that just a myth that like fifth graders tell each other?
I
Because
don't
I'm pretty
know.
sure that's where I got that information. So I don't
I
know.
was never having to make excuses for that shit, so I don't know. uh,
Yeah, I don't know.
no, Seawall says, look, the only thing the mask might do is reduce the chance of spread from symptomatic cases, but not by a ton. And I get it. Again, I'm not jumping on a bandwagon about go wear your mask. I'm just saying I wear a mask wherever I go for whatever amount of protection it may or may not give me from whoever or whatever might be out there. Sad to say, but I'm old enough that I don't want to take my chances. So any preventative measure works. Any port in a storm. Helton says, sure, it is funny, but they were using the stuff that she was brainwashed with as a child and using that to diminish her claims of success. I will agree
Ah,
with that to a certain degree, but I will also say this. There's a lot to be said about being a scientist, being a doctor who understands science and still that you have that much brainwashing slash faith that you still to this day are a preacher at the church next door to your doctor's office. I mean,
it's just
and
convenience, though. I
I
mean,
know it's just there's I'm just saying I think that if it was brainwashing, maybe it's time to let it go. I don't know. Um,
I don't know. I think she's right. I think she's got some wisdom that we've missed.
um,
And I
uh,
got vindicated in the chat, by the way.
what?
Elephant Man says that's correct. Night emissions can be caused by a backup. See, because
Uh,
you're all backed up, your humors aren't leveled and
right,
balanced.
right, right.
You know.
So maybe that's it, But again, whenever I was younger too, I did everything I could to keep myself from remembering my dreams. But you know, I was always dry when I woke up, except when I wet the bed. I mean, when you wet the bed, I mean, that's
Well,
different. That's
yeah,
not a nocturnal emission so much as just, watering the flowers because you wound up passing out in the park. Um,
sure.
Seawall says, that there are some studies that say wearing a mask wrong may increase your chances of getting it. Uh, Also true. That I've heard that as well. There are studies. There are studies about those studies, even, I bet you.
You know
We're
what that's
studying
called?
so much.
It's a meta study. It's called the
Medicine.
meta-analysis. Meta-analysis is a study of studies. Yeah,
Helton says, I have not.
that's what you want to read when someone says, "Oh, there's a new study out." No, read the meta-analysis.
Helton
what you
says,
need.
I've not worn a mask here since this nonsense started. I got the virus in the middle of February. How long before I get another strain? Now, A, you're sure you had it in February. It was this. And B, then, yeah, I wouldn't see that you need to worry about wearing a mask unless I mean, well, you've already had it once and you beat it. So if you were to contract it a second time, but my guess is you have some sort of antibodies built from having had it. That's kind of, what they're hoping happens to people. Maybe you are the answer for the cure, Ron Helton.
Oh shit.
What about Tom Hanks' blood?
What?
Tom Hanks' blood?
Come on.
Because he was like patient zero or something. I don't know.
I don't want
I don't read the news.
I don't want no gump. I don't want no gump blood.
No? I don't know.
Helton says, just like people who are brainwashed to worship the state and the flag, it took me years to get over that and years to realize that.
Same,
I
though.
see.
Same.
I understand that, but see, there's for me, I get what you're saying about that brainwashing. See, I don't love the state. I have an infallibility, not an infallibility, but what is the word I'm looking for, John? Inevitability. I have.
I thought you could say like irreverence or something.
I feel a sense of inevitability about the state, but the flag, my country. I'm a patriot. I love my country. I love what we're supposed to be, right? What
Right,
I
the
envision
ideals,
America
yeah.
should be and could be. That's what I love. I love my country, and I know it's just a piece of land. It's this, that, and the other, but I have heritage in this country that goes farther back, than this country itself. So, I don't know, for whatever you want to call that, it's just, I don't know. I love this country because it is my home. It's what I've known, and it's better than some of the fucking other places I could have been born into.
That's definitely true.
There
yeah.
are some fucking places I am like, they're daily sometimes. Ed, there's got to be at least a couple of places on the planet. You if you really have to think about it, you're like, fuck yeah, I'm glad I'm in America. Right?
I mean, you could be Irish.
Right?
Yeah, that would
There it
suck.
is.
I know.
I was
Holy
hoping.
shit! Imagine.
I was hoping Ed would say it so I
Imagine.
didn't have to.
Fucking cringe, man. I'm telling you, those Irish. Goddamn cringe.
Ron Helton, I have to say, I understand the flag is not the country. I understand the flag means something to me in regards to this country. It's a symbol to me of this country. So that's what it represents. It's a symbol for me of this country. That's personal. That's not, it's not about, my ideology. It's not about my fucking politics. It's not about any of that. It's about a love of my country, and that's the symbol. That, along with an American a bald eagle. Every fucking time I stand outside, because I can see them in the causeway throughout the year, I watch for eagles, bald eagles, to fly through my causeway, because to me, I mean, these were symbols that I grew up with, and I will hold on to those fucking symbols. I don't know, just like people hold on to the cross and their rosary or their Bible. That means something to me. Symbols are important to us. So that's me. I'll get off my high horse. So fuck it.
So yeah, Sewell here had an accurate tier list, and then he expanded it and made it inaccurate. Unfortunately, he said the Irish are greater than the Scots, which is greater than the Welsh. That is 100% true. And then he also fixed it to make it inaccurate. He says Americans are greater than the British, which is obviously true. But then he has British are greater than the Irish, which is obviously not true. It should go Americans greater than Irish, Irish greater than British. No, Irish greater than Scots, Scots greater than Welsh, Welsh greater than British. If you can't add some more in between,
till they get the whole Northern Ireland thing situated, yeah, that stays the way it is.
I don't know. They lost.
I don't want to hear. I don't want to hear we're better than anybody if we still can't get out from under a thumb.
I don't know. The British lost 3/4 of Ireland, so
and
British lost 95% of the land that they owned just 150 years ago.
That's true.
And Elephant Man, no, I didn't happen to read that in the chat, but no, I agree with you. That's just that's how it is for me, or it is what it is. But yes, Helton says that it's called brainwashing. We were brainwashed in school to think they're supposed to mean something when you're not in school anymore. Hey,
Yeah,
hey,
that's true.
I get it. I get it. I'm educated and smart enough to understand what those things are. But I can tell you this, when people were fighting for this country, they had symbols. They had things that
And they did have a flag
right.
at a certain
They
point.
had
Yeah.
things that they fought for to make this country what it is.
Well, not just that one, but yes, that one too.
I mean, so for whatever it is, I mean, we like our symbols. That's just who we are. Now, I was raised, I was brainwashed. Oh, to have a crucifix on the fucking wall and to have a Bible sitting in every room of the house. Oh, I was. But I'm able to break away from the things that I don't think are beneficial to me. Holding on to the flag, the eagle. Now, don't give me a fucking apple pie. No. Baseball, hot dogs, apple pie, and Chevrolet. Fuck no. None of that means America to me. But, I grew up hearing it all the fucking time. You know what I mean? All the
Yeah.
time. Helen says you are educated and smart enough to know better, and yet you persist to show reverence to symbols that do nothing for liberty. Now apply that to that doctor who came from a country where they firmly believe in witchcraft. Now call her goofy.
Ooh, he's kind of
Ooh, you
got
got
you
called
there.
out.
Yeah, he does. He does kind of have you on that
Hold
one.
on.
Hey, can somebody call 911 for that murder that just happened?
Right, I want to report a murder.
See, but okay, but in my opinion, there is a difference between
between symbols and
a symbol
belief
and a
system.
belief.
Yeah, there is a difference.
There's a
you got
huge.
there.
I believe in America. I believe in America being able, was once a great country, could be a great country. I believe that. I don't believe the flag is going to make that happen. I don't believe a bald eagle is going to make that happen. But when I think about America, I can look back there on that wall and I can think about it as, giving me hope, giving me heart to something, that symbol. But
But the idea is still out there.
I don't base everything in my life on that. I don't put faith and stock in that wholeheartedly and believe beyond a shadow of a doubt that those are the things that make this country great.
You don't believe that you have to stand for the pledge, otherwise the magic sky cloth won't freedom. Right?
I'll tell you what makes this country great. What makes this country great are the feelings that those symbols bring out in me. Is what makes this country great. And if that is something that makes this country great again for people because they have a symbol,
oh, shit.
I don't know. Fuck it. Where's
Is
Captain America? Where's fucking Captain America when we need him?
Is this you officially endorsing Trump 2020?
No.
I'm the leader of the Trump army, and I need your vote.
I'm just saying, I was bugged that the fucker had the audacity to hug the flag. I was like, come on, dude. That's just fucking.
Oh, I know.
I'm like,
totally
that's lame.
Cringe.
You won't see that from me, Helton. That's not how I approach this shit. It's not. I mean, I'm not gonna hug the flag.
Not on camera. You should see what he does when the camera's off. It's disturbing.
How do you know?
Don't worry about it.
And have you watched it enough to be able to rate the disturbance level?
Sure. I guess I'd say it's about a 7.5 out of 10.
Nice. So, John's a subscriber, is what he's saying.
Yeah. Robert's got an OnlyFans. You can go subscribe. It's I wouldn't recommend it, but if you're like morbidly curious, go ahead.
Elvis says I got the ambulance on the line in this emergency or a murder. Seawall says what makes this country great is that we allow people burn the symbols as a statement.
Yeah.
John is secretly a Fed. Ron, he is your Fed.
Oh, dude, don't compromise me, man. What the hell? I've been infiltrating this group of extremist libertarians for a while, and I've almost got enough to make my report.
Now, see, when you talk about the right to burn the flag, I've come to John and I have talked about this before. I've come to the conclusion that I am personally offended by someone burning the flag, not constitutionally offended.
Right. That's fine. There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, I mean,
You don't have to like it. Just because someone's allowed to do it.
It goes back to you're burning one of my symbols that
Right.
means something to me, right? But each to their own. The reasons why it's done. I don't know. I'm just saying, if you're burning the flag because and say, fuck this place, don't want to be here, fucking go. You know I am, right? Just fucking go. Ed, wouldn't you agree? Just fucking go. If you don't want to be here, fucking go.
I had one of those moments on Twitter, and I actually
tell me
resisted. No, the GOP-led Assembly and Senate in my state are working diligently to block the mask order that went in or goes in at midnight tonight.
Oh, fun.
And some woman on Twitter saw that. She says, "I'm so sick of this state." I'm like, okay, well, bye.
Yeah. It would be easier to move from one state to another than it is from this country to another country. So it's more doable.
I hear Chicago's nice this time of year.
It's fantastic, I hear. Yeah.
I hear Rockford's even better this time of year.
Yeah, there's countries abroad that are looking to import people for jobs, for this, for that. There's places to go. And they'll even make you a fucking citizen eventually after you've been there for long enough. Fucking go in. Go. There are places that'll take you.
Maybe.
If you think, I'll just fucking say it. If you think you've got a better shake out there, outside these borders, you're going to get a better shake, then go.
I think you misunderstand, Robert. It's not that they want to change things and make things better. It's that they want to just bitch about it. That's all.
Mm-hmm.
Just gonna bitch. And if everything's fixed, then it's like, well, what do I have to bitch about now?
But you can't fix it. All they're asking for is Band-Aids. We've seen what the Band-Aids do. How's that Civil Rights Act working out for you? How's that affirmative action working out for you? Should make sure that Black Lives Matter. Oh, no, doesn't? Sorry. Well, we need another Band-Aid.
Apparently they never have until BLM came around. And I was like, oh, yeah, that's right. Shit, I forgot.
Oh, we
also matter.
We've got immigration issues. Let's put a Band-Aid on it. Build a wall. Let's put a Band-Aid on it. No, fucking shut it down. Shut it down. Shut it all down. Shut down the gimmies. Okay, here's what it's like without the gimmies. Here, go do it like the rest of America is expected to without the gimmies. Take the gimmies away from all of them. I don't care what color they are. I don't care where the fuck they're from. Take the gimmies away. Every single one of them. And say, here, 30 days. Just fucking go without the gimmies. What the fuck? What are they going to do? What are they going to do?
Yeah, I don't know.
They'll come and take your TV.
Yeah. I like my TV.
But just remember, if they come and rob from you, if they come and rob you, that means that they're just worried about paying rent.
Oh, I thought you were going to say it was just an unplanned donation.
I mean, look at it this way. It's people accuse the government of being the mafia and shaking us down and protection rackets and all that, and I get it. But now look at it now. You flip the script, and now we're being shaken down by the homeless guy. Right? I mean, big nutshelling that, but you know what I'm saying? I'm like, what the hell? This is the point I'm at with all of that. It's like, fuck it. I mean, before you sit and tell us you need more money and you need more community programs and less policing, please just look at life without any of that shit for a minute. Take away all the gimmies you've already got that aren't good enough. But we
Turn
can't.
off the gives and people won't come in anymore.
That's true.
But that won't be compassionate. And I know what it's like to grow up in a poor neighborhood. Because I came from the Bronx.
Oh, God. Yeah.
I don't know.
No, she's from fucking Westchester.
Right. But that's a fact. We don't care about facts.
You know,
It's all about my feels. My feels.
I was content. Well, I won't. I guess I complacent. I was complacent with the programs that we have in place because they're there. They're necessary evil. Don't know that they're ever going to go away or how to get them to go away. But now, months into this, demanding more is just.
Well, they're just going to keep demanding more. That's the next thing, too.
Right.
I mean, you think they're going to be satiated? Think about the one guy that said, the one guy that came out and said, well, the easiest way to get the protests to stop is to have Donald Trump resign. It's like, no, it's not.
No,
Yeah, not at all.
It's not. They wouldn't do it at all. I mean, defunding the police wouldn't stop it. What's got to happen is they've got to actually get money in hand, right? In a sense, right? They've got to see money actually flowing in, being sent to their communities. Why?
I mean, even that wouldn't be enough. I mean, it's never.
Was it too much?
Never enough. Anytime those communist or socialist revolutions have happened, it's always been like a continuing revolution afterwards, right? Even after they've taken power, it's always like, this is currently the revolution, so therefore, first of all, we have complete control over everything, but it's also, we're always constantly working to fix the problem that we already defeated and taken control, but that problem still persists, and so that they can justify their continued power. It's going to be the same thing. There's always going to be something else to work towards, which requires more power, requires more printing of money, which requires more spending, which requires more inflation. Yeah, it's not going to stop until the whole thing collapses.
Look, these fucking people that are sitting around saying we need more money, take the money from the police and pour it in our fucking communities. I'm just going to say this. If you go to Home Depot or you go to Lowe's and go to their paint department, they've got fucking oops paint there. Even Walmart sells it. Where they fucked up, that paint's real fucking cheap. And they got cheap fucking brushes. Go paint some of the fucking neighborhood yourself. It's not expensive. Why the fuck aren't you? Why are you not out there in the fucking community that you want more money pumped into, doing something to make the fucking community better?
That's almost like having a job. Ew.
I mean, for God's sakes, I've never in my life thought I would see a point in time where people are actually saying, we're not willing to get up off our asses and do anything to make our communities better. We need you to give us more money and make them better,
right,
for us to fucking live in. What the
and we're going to destroy our community until you give us that money.
The fuck is wrong with you?
Yeah.
Now, if we're talking about a location where the city actively does not apportion any money to an area, I could see having some complaints there. Maybe. But I got to look at the numbers, right? I got to have some answers as to why that's happening. Because it shouldn't be happening. A city should be equally treated, right? We know that they're not all. We know, I get it. But the bottom line is like, look, where's the fucking halfway? Where do you meet halfway? Because I know I come from a fucking time that if the fucking community needs improving, the fucking community's out there improving the fucking community.
That's illegal now, though. It has to be city workers only. I'm sorry. I mean, how dare you fill in that pothole in front of your house on your own?
No, this one's got. This
has got. Do it.
This has gotten.
They can't even do it.
This has gotten me irate, especially the idea that we'll tear apart our communities.
Yeah.
Before asking you to come in and rebuild, we want to make sure it costs you even more
Well, I mean, it's like, when you put new floors in your house, you tear up the floor beforehand so that it makes it
Why?
easier on the people coming in,
Yeah, yeah, no, no.
you know?
You just sacrifice 2 inches of room height. Is all you do, and just lay down new fucking floor. It's just that other is just cushion under there. It's a buffer for you. Soundproofing. I don't give a fuck. Tear out the old floor. What the fuck are you talking about? Jesus.
Yeah, Wyatt makes a good point. Eight city workers for one pothole. Yeah, well, you got to have like five supervisors and then two guys are on break. So, I mean, you need all those guys there.
Wyatt just got back from a 10, 10/12, 10 out of 12 day backpacking trip.
Is that
Nice.
like the rating, like how much fun he had?
Mhm.
Like 10 out of
I want to
12?
say he was actually maybe backpacking for 10 of the 12 days.
Oh, what happened to the other 2 days?
Well, getting there and the day after, preparing to leave.
I
He was
suppose.
an overachiever. He got done with it early.
He finished early.
My hope is that you took video while you were out there and you're planning on
Yeah.
incorporating it into an episode for all of us to see some of the fun you had and some of the beautiful country. Where did you go?
Absolutely.
That is important to know for me. See, Robert is right. Damn it! How did I do it?
I don't know.
Because I'm intelligent.
Oh
That
yeah,
must be it.
I forgot about that.
Somehow
Wait,
I'm
where were you right? Trying to find where you were right.
what? You don't see
Probably,
it?
No, I don't see
It's in
where someone
YouTube.
says
God damn
Robert.
it! Did
yeah.
YouTube stop doing stuff again on
Oh, there
D-Live?
it is. Yeah, you did. Yeah, no, it just took a
Ah,
second to catch up, I guess.
shit! And I thought Helton just stopped talking, and he's actually talking in D-Live, and I'm sorry, I'm
Oh
not
no.
ignoring you.
Oh no, we're sorry. We're
Because
sorry.
I had something in front of that, from this information we were looking at. Damn it, YouTube! Why do I hate
Yeah,
YouTube? Because they fuck with us.
it's true.
So this is the second show in a row where this has happened, by the way. So note to self.
doesn't happen to me.
I know. I
Well,
know. I don't know what's happening. What's causing it?
well, maybe it will, Ed.
The weed.
Maybe it will.
Why
The
says
weed state?
he was
Is
in the
that
weed state?
Colorado?
Yeah, really,
Colorado?
because like, I guess that's the state known as the weed state
Or
would be the one.
Washington? Yeah, it's either Washington State or Colorado. But I'm gonna go with Colorado. That's my final answer. Do I win $1 million?
I think the YouTube chat can see the deal. No, because I can't see it in my
I
YouTube
don't see the
chat.
D Live anymore on my end. Something with
But
Restream, I guess.
Wyatt did answer Ron.
Yeah, you did.
It says Ron. He said no blisters. Now see, now I'm like,
Colorado. I win $1 million. Vindicated. All
whoa!
right.
It wasn't that
So
hard of a guess.
it was. There were at least 3 states I could think of that could be named the weed state. That was the first one I thought of.
Helton says he watched a video today where some BLM guy was chewing some business owners out for removing BLM signs off of their stores. Absolutely
Yeah.
nuts.
How dare they?
Now look,
Fucking bigots.
I'm going to say something, and there's a chance this may be controversial and may
Uh-oh.
sound so. Insert all disclaimers here, please. The generational gap does not, nor does J. Edgar endorse nor condone anything I'm about to say. But there's a new movie out on Disney Plus, and it's called Black is King. Okay, it's done by Beyonce. Apparently, she had a hand in a lot of pretty much all the music for the newest version of the Lion King that came out, right? Well, this Black is King is basically that that music. It's like a video album, as it were, and the backdrop, what they're portraying is going to be an actual boy, basically the Lion King story, but with people in Africa, in that area.
That
And
general part of the world.
right, and a lot of it is hoped to inspire Black pride and help remind Black people what they can aspire to. And all I can think is, but that's fucking Africa. The African Americans that you're trying to reach here don't know fuck nothing about what goes on in Africa and what life's like in Africa and what all those trials and tribulations might be like.
I couldn't make it in Africa either. I'm gonna come right out and say,
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, I couldn't either. So, not some kind of judgment, but
You
yeah, they probably couldn't either.
couldn't say what now?
Survive in
couldn't make it in
Africa.
Africa.
No.
Oh, well, it depends on where. I mean,
I guess, yeah.
there are places where you don't want to be white, and there are places where you don't want to be black in Africa.
I suppose.
I mean, so they do have some of that, but that's more. They're more at a genocide level than at a voting level in that kind of shit. So, I'm just saying. Still, apples and oranges, but it's been bothering me because I've been hearing promotions for it and seeing it popping up here and there. That Black is King is coming out. Black is King is coming out. And I mean, the name in and of itself bothers me only because it's politicized. I mean,
Absolutely.
And it's intentionally politicized when it has nothing to do with our African American culture here, because much of our African American culture is so far removed from their African heritage just by time. It's not even funny.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I don't know. I don't love these kind of things, and this is going to get a lot of attention and discourse, and I just thought I'd mention it. And yes, people will call me racist. It has nothing to do with that. It's about the political agenda behind things.
Right.
It's about the political bullshit. And especially celebrities getting involved with it. It's like, look.
Yeah.
No.
That's probably the worst part. When people who have absolutely no idea what they're talking about and people who have a huge following, when those two things are mixed, it's a pretty bad idea.
Wait. We can see what on the side. Oh. They can see it on the side of the stream. Yeah. I had that covered. My bad. But I'm glad you guys can. Gotcha. Sewell says not only that, but American blacks are heavily mixed of different subgroups mean they have no real connection to the homeland. Yeah, I mean, think about it this way. How many African Americans in this country don't even have a direct tie to Africa in the first place, anywhere near Africa? I mean, we're talking other places like what? Haiti. Where's the others?
Well, I mean, those were also there were tons of slaves there. Jamaica, Haiti.
Were there our slaves?
That's the other thing too.
Yeah.
You could be mixed Indian and Jamaican and still claim a connection to the African American community.
Right.
Until you get a massive facelift and look like a fucking demon.
But Jamaica was actually created through a slave rebellion.
But when you're beating the slavery drum, when you're beating the African American drum, what are we, who do we think? That's all we talk about is Africa. We don't talk about other countries that were affected by this, right?
I mean, I don't know. I would disagree because a lot of people would, they're like, oh yeah, I'm Haitian or something like that.
Well, I mean, coming from those voices, yes. But I'm talking about, I guess I should talk more in the non-African American discussions. I mean, we always associate Africa. That's our first go-to. And but even in this politicized, this kind of politicized movie, Africa is the focus. It's not talking about the plight of, the global African, the global black being oppressed by slavery. It's about African blacks being oppressed by slavery and racism, whatever. You know what I'm saying?
I get what
That's
you mean, but yeah, that
I don't like the fact
that
that
concept is
I don't like the fact that African Americans kind of try and take the to appropriate racism like it's only happening to them. Right? Like you're the only group that deals with racism.
well, yeah, they're the only group that can.
Is that right? They're the
Yeah,
only group that ever
under
has to.
under the intersectional definition of racism, yes.
I don't think I've ever heard that definition, but God help us all if I ever do.
It's power plus privilege.
Helen says, "Yeah, I just didn't want to
That's all
say
it
that
is.
online." Oh, that. Helen says, "I would switch to YouTube to watch, except the video is only at 144p. Cannot get it higher, and the audio is bad on
Really?
D Live." That's Ed's fault.
Yeah, I
He
blame
has
Ed
like.
because it's all good on this side, so it's got to be Ed's fault.
Helton says there are some African Americans who travel to Africa. I follow a few of their journeys on Instagram and YouTube. And I'm not saying that there aren't. I'm just saying it's not. I don't
It's
know.
not a common thing.
I think our American black community, the majority is far removed from their African heritage, other than to claim it in the face of racism or oppression, et cetera, et cetera.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's a quick go-to when it's all said and done. I don't know. I'm just saying I don't think they'd want to be there. They've got a better shake here.
No, I mean their life is terrible here. Just ask them.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh, really, Wyatt? Wyatt says Colin Kaepernick is making a Disney Plus
Kaepernick.
show.
Yeah.
Is it not Kaepernick?
It's Kaepernick.
Kaepernick?
Yeah.
So I'm just sorry.
It's dumb privileged bastard is what it is.
I know, right?
Fucking phonetics. What's wrong with me?
Yeah.
The greatest slave empires in the world existed in and because of Africa. So you say, sir. So you say. If you don't have video, I'm just saying.
It was an American invention. Why do you say lies in the YouTube chat?
Right.
There were 0 slaves before America came around.
He says they also completely ignore European history of serfdom. Right. Right.
It's not the same thing. It's a different form of slavery. Okay. Like, come on, man.
Right. So So I might have slaves in serfs in my history. Is that what you're saying? In my ancestry, I might have serfdom on that half of that side of my family.
See, I don't, because my family was noble. Well, I'll say, they probably had serfs.
What the fuck happened?
A lot, I guess. I don't know.
We have a.
I don't know where it went. Probably the British took it. They took all our sheep, and so we lost all our wealth.
Elephant Man says, "Tell Seawall it didn't count anyway." He says the treatment of the peasant classes was terrible and didn't end in many countries in European time until around the time the U.S. ended slavery.
That's not necessarily true. I guess it is. Hang on, because the idea of serfdom was abolished. The French Revolution had a lot to do with that. It wasn't immediately everywhere else after the French Revolution, but it was shortly after, because the monarchies of Europe got scared that was going to happen to them. So they came to the table to negotiate, and so in a lot of places, serfdom did end shortly after the French Revolution, which would have been shortly before. No, around the same time. Yeah, around the same time as the American Revolution.
Helton.
So I guess that's true.
Helton, I just wanted to point something Helton said out. He said, "Did you guys know that the CDC acquired the .org of the Frontline Doctors website so that people will be directed to the CDC?" Said the Frontline Doctors use .com. Frontline Doctors are the ones that were Stella was part of, if I'm not mistaken. Correct me if I'm wrong, Ron. But anyway, he says indentured servants could actually take the contract owners to court for abuse. Slaves could not. Was that
okay?
Is he talking about in Europe, in England?
I don't know.
Servants?
I mean, indentured servants were here too.
Oh, we could do that here then, is what?
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, because we definitely had them here. Yeah.
He says
Usually in exchange for a transport to America.
he said even though most indentured servants were mostly too uneducated to know that.
Yeah.
Seawall says Austria-Hungary, Russia, Prussia. John, you are clearly a snow ape, so your family have been invading for a long time.
No, not true. Not true. Yeah, that is not the case. In fact, I personally, since that's how this works, was invaded a bunch of times by
men at the bar,
by the English and and the Normans. So yeah, go fuck yourself, all right? I'm super
and
impressed.
my people.
Okay.
My people invaded your people numerous times.
That's what I'm saying. I'm impressed by Ed right now.
You've been invaded by Ed?
Yeah, unfortunately. It's on his OnlyFans, I think. You put that up, right?
OnlyFans.
Yeah.
Who put that clip on Discord? That was kind of funny. Why am I not on OnlyFans? Because I don't have issues or something.
Yeah, but yeah, I'm not a snow ape. Sorry.
I am.
All right.
Yeah, you're the oppressor here.
So Ed, we've kept you around long enough. I think we can all plan on going our separate ways and put this one to bed tonight because you guys are just getting out of hand. Eventually, one of you are bound to say something that's going to come across racist.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Or homophobic.
Oh, that might happen. Yeah, that might happen.
Right?
I don't know.
Sexual harassment is highly discouraged in most businesses, but it's highly encouraged at Freedom Scoop.
That's true. Our HR department gets mad when you don't sexually harass people.
Right? I mean, take it from a guy who's actually stood in front of an HR director and said, I thought the sexual harassment was one of the fringe benefits. But anyway, all right, we're going to start to wrap this up. Before we do, John, could you tell these lovely people what's going on in 3 weeks in a nutshell, please?
Yes, in a nutshell, the condensed version. Friday, August 21st, 12-hour live stream to benefit St. Jude's. Once again, we're going to have Jeopardy trivia. We're going to have a sea shanty competition, hopefully a competition, if the people answer. And yeah, we're going to have a lot of fun otherwise and regardless of how well that goes. So be there. It'll be awesome.
Be there or be square.
Yeah.
It's hip to be square, except then. Right. But anyway, so...
all the cool people are going to be there, so make sure you're there too. Otherwise, you can't sit with us at lunch anymore.
I want to give mad props to our man Ed down here. Look at that. There's Ed. Now, that is a man who came in with, just very short heads up and decided to come on and talk with us a little bit.
I was standing in the line at the grocery store when you messaged me.
Right? He was in line at the grocery store, jerking it to the Cosmo cover. And
wow.
Why do you think they cover that up? Why do you think places like Publix and Kroger's cover those up?
Do they? I don't know.
Yeah. Did you not know?
Attention to the magazine, right?
Yeah,
no, I haven't.
Go in there.
Read. Why would he pay attention to the magazine?
Go in there sometime. Have you not wondered why all the magazines have most of them have little covers in front of them now? Oh, no. Yeah. Mom's got all upset. Look at all that cleavage Cosmo is showing.
They don't have that here.
Moms? Yeah, I don't know what you're talking about.
No, covered up
Moms.
No, they do that here. They do that here. I see it all the time in grocery stores. Now, you may not see it in you're not going to see it in your, ghetto grocery stores. You're going to see it in your bigger chains that will succumb to that kind of thing. Like I said, the Publix, the Kroger's. I don't know what you've got up there. Piggly Wiggly, Safeway?
No Safeway, but we've got, Festival Food, Woodman's, Piggly Wiggly, Pick and Save.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah, so whoever your big chains are, I don't know. If you don't have that, then they haven't.
I was in Festival and it wasn't like that.
But yeah, they'll cover even health and fitness, like when they have the models on there posing in their workout clothes. They'll get one of the covers slipped in front of them too. Good Housekeeping never gets one, of course. Nobody cares about the cleavage on a pumpkin.
But that couch though, Looking
Yeah,
pretty
there's
sexy.
a lot
I
to
don't
be
know.
said. But anyway, Ed, thank you so very much for taking some time to come on here and talk to us. You're always welcome here. I love seeing your face, even though it scares me in the middle of the night.
That's just because he's standing over you, breathing heavily.
Right, or I imagine that he could be. But I have to balance it against, dude, you're that popular. I mean, really, you know.
That's fair. Yeah. Just means you're desirable. That's all.
Right, it's important. So, Ed, before we get the hell out of here, you got any words of wisdom? Anything you want to share with us? Anything coming up? All sorts of fun stuff. Where can folks find you?
Well, you can find my YouTube channel. I've been chatting up in the chat there here, or you can find me over on Twitch or DLive. Both of them are extension Ed's blog Twitter. You can come over there, check out Contemporary at 7:15 a.m. weekdays, or the Red and Ed Show 5:30 p.m. Central Time on Monday nights with my wonderful co-host Elaine. So come on over there and check us out. We'd love to see you in the live chat.
Nice.
There you
Nice.
go.
Please go check out Ed. He likes being checked out. And, if he catches you doing it, he may even threaten to check you out.
Oh, shit.
I've seen it done before. Much appreciation to everybody who showed up tonight, all the chit chat in the various chats. Sorry about YouTube being a bitch.
You see what Seawell just said?
What did he say? You could have had me on the show and I wouldn't shill for myself. You get all the spotlight.
Damn.
Jesus. You know what?
Called him out.
Your very presence is a shill for yourself. I'm just saying. Ed, you can't click in the chat anymore.
I don't know what that means.
I don't know either. But anyway,
No.
we appreciate everybody showing up tonight. Look for us again on Monday night. We'll have our regular Shooting the Shit episode on Monday at 9:30, and then we'll be coming back at you again next week on Friday again at our 8:30, our normal time, and both of those times are Eastern time, the only true time zone. Bear with us. We've got for the Monday show. There's unknowns going on right now off our lower southeastern coast. So Isaias may or may not. And
make it rain a little bit. What do you?
Well, no, they don't. I mean, he wasn't turning like they expected at 5 o'clock this evening. I haven't looked at for the 8 o'clock update, but he wasn't turning. And if he doesn't turn, then he's going to plow right on in, as opposed to skirting up the coast.
Man, I really should pay attention to local news, huh? Because I haven't heard anything about that.
You don't know that there's a.
I didn't know that until today either.
He may have leveled up to Cat 2 at this point. Yeah, and
very nice.
They're talking. So landfall would be sometime tonight, tomorrow.
But I mean, this shows you how important hurricanes are, especially low-level hurricanes to a Floridian. I didn't even know the fucking thing was here.
But you say that, but out of the last 10 years, we've had more hurricane impacts
but
here.
they all suck.
All the way here in Orlando, we've had more hurricane impacts than in the previous 15 to 18 years I was here. So that's something to consider. They're getting in here a little closer. Shit, I had a tree dropped on my house from Charlie. I'm just saying that was all the way here inland.
One, right?
Yeah, all the way here inland. Yeah. So they're starting to prove that being here in the middle of the state ain't that big a deal.
Hey, my show will be on.
Hey, Ed's show will be on. So.
Yeah. You know what?
In the event of our unfortunate passing,
we will broadcast through Ed's show.
Yeah, you may watch
via mobile device. Stay tuned, Ed.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to get the hell out of here. Thanks again, everyone, and we'll talk at you real soon. Peace out.
See you guys.
The one in you.